Welcome to the Mortgage Mayhem Podcast, where the mortgage game meets real life, real talk, and a whole lot of chaos. We break down the deals, the drama, and the data behind the scenes of real estate finance, with a twist of street smarts, savvy, and a touch of madness. Before we dive in, here's the deal. The Mortgage Mayhem Podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. We are not attorneys, CPAs, or licensed financial advisors, and nothing you hear on this show should be taken as legal, financial, or investment advice. Always consult a licensed professional before making financial decisions.
Welcome. We're back. We had a couple little technical difficulties. That's why we're arriving to the stage a little bit late. So I apologize, but I'm here. And welcome to the Mortgage Mayhem Podcast, where the market meets mayhem. It's Tuesday, April 29th, and we're live from 12, a little bit over 12 today, to 2 every Mondays and Tuesdays, same time, same fire. Remember to subscribe on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. We're building a movement, not just a podcast, right? So hope everybody had a good Monday and even a better Tuesday. So let's get into it. Hot headline segments for today. We're going to talk a little bit about Elon Musk as XAI facility in Memphis populating Black communities. What's up with that? Houston ranked among the unhappiest cities in America. What the hell's going on in Houston? The White House displays migrant crime posters on the lawn of the White House. Crazy work. Illinois' no cosigner student loan program launches. Get into that. See, what's going on there. SHEIN hikes U.S. prices by up to 377% ahead of tariff changes. Crazy work. Children who eat dinner with families have better grades. Get to that kitchen table, folks. Trump signs executive order on HBCUs without funding commitment. Don't even know what that's about. Tiffany Capri becomes first Black woman to solely own a tequila brand, so we're going to spotlight her. We're also going to spotlight a father and daughter duo who launched blackhomeownership.com. We're going to actually do our deep dive on that company today. And last but not least, Adidas to raise U.S. prices due to tariffs. So the trickle-down effect of tariffs are starting to hit home. Then we're going to get into our mortgage hacks, our deep dive, and then we'll get out of here. All right. So let's get this party started, guys. First of all, man, I just want to just say thank you, for, I'm not getting a lot of live participants, maybe because it's noon or whatnot. And I'm new, so people may not be aware, and I'm not doing a whole bunch of marketing. I'm really doing this for the love. I don't need to do this. I just like doing it because it gives me an opportunity to, give back, talk about some of the things that's going on in the world, and more so than that, gives me an opportunity to, give back from the items and things that I've learned over the past years, in hopes that I can potentially help someone, right? So that's why I'm here. But before I go any further, I want to do two things. Let's talk about this again. I know I brought it up yesterday, but, just for our people who may be listening or just dropping by, the brothers of the Flint Alumni Chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi is holding a Kappa Derby Day Party. It's going to be at Soothing Tombs, and that's at 1408 Hempfield Road in Flint, Michigan. The time is 1 p.m. to 8 p.m., and that's Saturday, May 3rd, 2025. Food will be provided, and there will be a cash bar, and the music will be brought to you by Timeless Entertainment. And if you don't already have a ticket, it's going to be $30 at the door. And that's 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, May 3rd, 2025. So if you can, get out, put on your derby gear, it should be a good time. All right? All right. Okay, once again, today's broadcast is being sponsored by All Inclusive Home Care, LLC. I know we had talked about them a little bit in our first couple episodes. They were our sponsors, so they came back, got some good results. And, if you're out there and you're taking care of your loved ones, and there's an opportunity for you to, get paid for doing that because it will help the household. All Inclusive Home Care is the company for you. Reach out to them. They have a hotline. That hotline number is 810-333-1454. That's 810-333-1454. You will not be disappointed. Great group of individuals. They already have independent living homes as well. So if you have a loved one who's in need for home care, or they need a home to reside in, reach out to these good people at All Inclusive Home Care. And once again, that number is 810-333-1454. And we really appreciate them sponsoring this show. We're new, so for us to be able to have a sponsor this early is a big thing to us. I mean, we don't have any. We maybe have a couple subscribers. We're starting to get a lot of headway on our shorts that we're putting up on YouTube, Facebook. We're still kind of breaking into that platform. I don't know, I'm still figuring this thing out for the most part. So once again, All Inclusive Home Care, they are a home care provider. And if, like I said, if you have a loved one or someone who needs home care service, grooming, grocery shopping, toileting, things of that nature, please reach out to them. And they'll be able to give you more information on how you can do those same exact things, but make money while you're doing it. And it's a big thing because sometimes we're taking care of our loved ones and it can potentially put us in debt. And they have figured out a way to help you be paid while you're taking care of your loved ones. And I think that's admirable because a lot of times we do this hard work and there's really no rewards outside of being able to make sure that our loved ones are taken care of. So reach out to them. And once again, their number is 810-333-1454. That's their hotline. Leave a message. They'll be sure to get back to you ASAP. All right. So let's get into this. Elon Musk. What is Elon Musk doing out here in these streets? So Elon Musk's XAI was caught flooding Black communities with airborne toxins. Elon Musk is under Elon Musk's AI company, XAI, is under fire in Memphis. Their massive supercomputer AI facility, Colossus, needs so much power that they're secretly running dozens of methane gas turbines without full permits. Area footage showed 35 gas turbines operating in a historically Black neighborhood, pumping pollutants, 11K nitrogen oxides, formaldehyde, and particular matter linked to asthma, cancer, and respiratory illness into the air. The company also had permits to operate 15 gas turbines. The local grid couldn't meet Musk's energy demand, so instead of slowing down, XAI plowed ahead, risking the health of an already overburdened community for profit. Once again, billionaires break the rules and regular people pay the price, right? So my opinion on that is basically, I know Memphis. I know a lot of people from Memphis, and I don't understand how this could have happened in the first place. I don't know how Elon Musk got into the world of Memphis. I'm assuming it was, an area where he could, plop a plant down and, start to do these types of things. And individuals in that community may have thought initially, oh, okay, this is great, more jobs, more tax dollars to the community, but not at, the health of individuals. That doesn't make a whole bunch of good sense. I don't know why they would do that, but they're doing it. So I don't know exactly what's going to be done here, but to be honest with you, why would you do that? It's just amazing how people will, take profits over the well-being of individuals, right? It just doesn't make a whole bunch of sense. You just would prefer to beat people down, allow people to get asthma, cancer, just so you can make a profit. Why can't you just do business the right way? That's the big thing about deregulation. And typically when the Republicans get into office, they do away with a lot of deregulations, including the EPA, which monitors things like this. So when you're in the White House and you're controlling all the levers, and one of the main people that's, doing their thing in the White House that's not officially voted to be in the White House is out here just taking advantage of the less fortunate in neighborhoods that were probably already downtrodden. But this doesn't help in any kind of way. So we're going to keep a close eye on this one for sure. Because like I said, I got a lot of people that I know in Memphis. They probably don't even know that this is going on. But, we're going to cut this stuff up today, get it out there to the masses. So hopefully they'll, I know some powerful people in Memphis, actually, and they have a voice. So I don't know if they know that this is going on, but I'm going to make sure that they're aware to the point where maybe boots on the ground is a little bit more so than these articles that are being written about these situations. So I'm going to keep my eye on this one. Like I said, we're going to cut this up, get it out to the masses in hopes that it'll catch somebody's ears and eyes and they can go ahead and start, putting some things together in hopes that they can stop this from happening. All right. Now, this one right here caught me a little off guard, guys. So we're going to switch gears and talk a little bit about what's going on in Houston, because I've been to Houston and I loved it. I only been there once. I went there for a wedding, so it wasn't like I was in the city for extended period of time. But I know a lot of people move to Houston. I know a lot of people love Houston. So when I saw this, I just thought, let me bring this up, see what's going on in Houston, because they're saying it's one of the most unhappiest cities in America. The annual Wall Hub report evaluated cities across the United States using a detailed methodology that assessed several key factors contributing to residents' happiness. This indicator included emotional and physical well-being, income levels, job satisfaction, and the quality of the community and environmental conditions. Unfortunately, Houston landed at number 151 on the list, a strikingly low position compared to the nation's happiest cities. Leading the rankings were Fremont, San Jose, and Irvine, also located in California, highlighting a sharp contrast between Houston and the cities considered most content and thriving. While Houston boasts many vibrant culture and economic advantages, the report suggests that challenges in health outcomes, financial satisfaction, and community well-being may be impacting the overall happiness of its residents. As the city continues to grow and evolve, many are hopeful that future efforts to improve quality of life will help boost Houston's standing in years to come. All right. So what do you guys think about that? I know a lot of you guys know Houston, maybe have family, friends there, and you probably get a chance to go there. I just don't, sometimes these polls and things could be on point, but, I just see Houston as a city that a lot of people seem to be happy when they go to Houston. A lot of people that leave different cities and move to Houston, they don't come back. So the job opportunities, I have been told, are plentiful. That's why a lot of people move to Houston. The culture is just magnificent, from food to nightlife. Those things I have always heard to be on point in Houston. So I really don't understand what the hell this is about. But if they're out here doing the research and they're talking to people, polling people, and this is what they're coming up with, it could be an underlying issue that we can't really see by, being on the outside looking in. So if I was you guys out in Houston, I would keep doing my big one. I'll keep, thriving. Like I said, these are just polls. These are just people's opinions of what's going on. But it does seem like Houston may be on the clock as far as cities that you would want to go make a life, what city you would want to go raise a family in. Because if these underlying issues are happening where the physical well-being, income levels are low, job satisfaction is low, the quality of community and environmental conditions are low, sometimes these polls can help because they identify problems that the higher ups and the community at large could step in and potentially turn these things around, because these are all way of life items that they're speaking on. These are the items that anywhere you are, you would want to be, you would want these types of things to not be an issue. You don't want to live in a city that's not healthy for you, that's not financially conducive, for you and your family. So if you're in Houston, like I said, keep thriving. But if you're listening out there, the higher ups, and you know that this is a thing, get your ASS in order and work on these things, because you have a very just magnificent culture. You have a lot of celebrities, a lot of individuals who've made a mark in the world that comes from Houston. And I know they don't want that black mark on the city, because everyone that comes from Houston, they love Houston. They constantly talk about how much they love Houston, growing up, being there now. So I just hope that these things are small issues that are being worked on regularly, but being that you're not there on a regular basis, or you haven't tapped into the higher ups, you just don't know that that is the case. Hopefully that's what's going on, because if not, then the community at large needs to tap in, figure out what's going on, and see if there is a way to turn some of these things around. Okay? So Big Houston, let's see, let's get on our 1-2 and figure out if these things are going on. Let's see if there's a way that we can tap in, do some things legislatively, do some things as far as the government is concerned, in hopes that you guys can turn these things around if it's an issue. If it's not an issue, they're identifying these items, and by them identifying these problem areas, it's a way, and it's a reason to pay attention. It's a way for you to start having these conversations, and it's also a way for you to pay attention just in case things are slipping through the cracks. All right. So Houston, you're on the clock. All right, let's keep this thing moving, folks. We want to switch gears. And this, to me, I don't get it. It's just so crazy. That's not what I want. Why in the HE double hockey stick? And I don't mean to sound lame when I say that, because I'm far from that, but why is the White House displaying posters of alleged criminal migrants on the White House lawn? I don't really know why whoever came up with this crazy idea, was just that, a crazy ass idea. And I don't know if because it's 100 days in and now things haven't been going according to plan. Everything seems to be in chaos. The majority of people are behind the scenes, like, we're at 100 days and we got 3 more years of this in front of us. You have to exhale, because you just don't know what the world is going to look like in the next 3 years, based off of everything that's happening right now. I know I keep saying, let's give, the people that's in the White House an opportunity to roll out whatever it is that they need to roll out. In 100 days might not be enough time to really see any results. But like we were talking about yesterday, in 100 days, there hasn't been not one law passed. Everything has been executive orders or whatever they got going on, to the point where it seems like they're just steamrolling over everything and everybody to get their agenda through, without actually going through the proper course that you have to go through in order to legitimately, in the eyes of Americans, both parties bring a bill to the table, both parties, argue, viciously fight about the individual bills, and then they actually come to an agreement to move things forward or to shoot things down. So I don't know what's happening there, but The White House has displayed 100 posters of alleged criminal migrants on the White House lawn. Posters displaying individuals the Trump administration claims are unauthorized migrants who've been arrested for committing crimes are being displayed on the White House driveway on Monday. This morning, images of the worst criminal illegal immigrants arrested since President Donald J. Trump took office were placed on the lawn of the White House for the world to see, the White House said in a statement. Well, you know, there's a million other ways to handle this without total disgrace. You know, some people I've heard say, well, you know, the president's photo maybe need to be on the line. He's a convicted felon. I mean, he is. I'm not just saying something just to be saying it. You know, so I get that that's their big one. They want to be, you know, tough on immigration, and that's fine. I mean, you know, once again, it seems like the government doesn't have things that they know they need to take care of. It seems like they can't find a way to figure some of these things out, like immigration. They've been working on immigration for decades. Both parties, Democratic Party, Republican Party, both parties have been, it's been the same old, you know, for years. And I get it. Some people say, well, you need to kind of step in and try something different. And this is the difference. Well, you can do this. I'm not saying, you know, whatever they're doing in their immigration policy is their immigration policy. But shaming people and putting posters and stuff on the White House lawn, it's all political to me. My idea, this is what I think. My idea of what should be going on is put your head down, get to work, and all these shenanigan political stunts that they're, you know, rolling out it's silly. I mean, this stuff is just silly. You know, we are adults, we're grown-ups, you got kids watching, and this is not how our country should be ran, right? I get we should do the things that we need to do to make sure our country is safe, our borders are protected, all of that. I'm in agreement with all of that. But I'm not in agreement with you having to, you know, just shame people just to prove your point. Shame people to make it seem that you're on the job. Just do the job. Just work and bring back results. That's the part I really don't understand. Why can't we just work and bring back results? Results is the key. If you don't have results, it's like you're just throwing stuff up against the wall, hoping that it sticks. And it seemed like a lot of that is going on. A lot of throwing spaghetti up against the wall, hoping that it sticks. And it's not sticking because it doesn't make sense. It's all like juvenile. You know, I would much more prefer you to roll out these individuals are in custody. These individuals have been jailed because of XYZ crimes. And if you rolled it out that way, people would be more receptive to digesting this stuff. All these stunts is just make people scratch their head and look up in the sky and be like, what's next? Because that's what I am. I'm like, what's next? Every time I look up, it's something new. And it doesn't seem like we really have a president, so to speak. It just seems like we have someone in the White House who is all about being vindictive, all about stunts, all about, you know, acting as if the work is getting done, but we find out that it's really not, so I'm not sure what this was about. I'm not sure who came up with this stupid idea to do this, but whoever's coming up with these little stunts, stop it. Just stop it, because it doesn't make us look good as a country, outside of the country, and it doesn't make us look good inside of the country, because you have people looking at this stuff like, really, what's next? And we got 3 years of this. Come on, guys. I don't know what's going on over there. I do know what's going on. It's just, it's just being ran by individuals. I don't want to say that they don't love our country, because I'm pretty sure that they do. But the way they go about doing things it doesn't really show a lot of love. It just shows a lot of cruelty, and we don't have to be cruel to get our points across. We don't have to be vindictive. We're the greatest country in the world. We don't have to do this kind of stuff to prove that we're the greatest country in the world. If you really was talking about making some changes, get in, make the changes, do the things the right way. If you just stopped and did things the right way, Mr. President, I think you would have better results. This stuff that's going on right here, right now, from the first 100 days, is not really making people feel secure. And as a president, you're supposed to make sure we feel secure. That's what you're supposed to do. So a lot of people think what you're doing, or you think what you're doing, is making Americans feel secure because of these little tactics that you guys are pulling. But at the end of the day, it's really not, because we want results. We want concrete, hard results that you can roll out, talk to us about, allow us to understand what's going on. And then you have more of a longer leash to do some of the things that you want to do. This is not working. I don't, in my opinion, it's just not working for me. And I know it's not working for a lot of people, because I talk to a lot of people. And, somebody got to be not afraid to just talk about it. Not my opinions are just my opinions. So I could be completely wrong here, but I feel like we're in a country where free speech is exactly that. We should be able to say whatever we want to say, as long as you're not just going overboard with it or harming anybody by whatever it is that you're saying. And you shouldn't be put in a situation where you got to pay the price because you speaking your mind about what you disagree with what's going on. That ain't what we do here. And everybody that's been here all their lives, especially these individuals that's in charge, that's been here 70 plus years, they understand that. They know that we don't rock like that. You know what I'm saying? If some things we can change, of course, we can tighten some things up, but do it in the front of the American people, because then we can understand it, we can digest it, and then we can move on, So we'll just keep an eye. Like I said, it's the first 100 days. We got 3 more years of this, so pretty sure I'll be back here, once again, talking about something else crazy that's going on. So, those people, that photos are out there on the front line, you put yourself in that situation. You did those things, whatever they're saying you did, allegedly. So think about that too, immigrants or individuals that's here and trying to become a part of America. You can't do that doing crazy-ish. That's not going to work for us. We don't want people that's born and raised here to be doing crazy-ish. So people that's coming here, across the borders illegally, you know you can't be doing. Your only job should be, if you come across the borders illegally, is how to get legal. If you're going to be here and you're going to work and you're going to pay taxes and you're going to have a good quality of life, more so than your quality of life in your own country, then do the right thing. Because as you can see, they're not playing with you. They're not playing with you at all. And then they're sending you back to your country, and they're putting you in jails, that you just, by every indication was trying to, not have to be a part of. So don't come over here causing trouble, because I don't agree with all these shenanigans, but I do agree with holding your ass to the fire if you're over here doing stuff you ain't supposed to be doing. I agree with that for sure. All right, so let's keep it moving. I thought this was good. Where are we at? Nope. All right, so children who eat dinner with their families tend to have better grades and higher test scores. Regular family meals link to improved academic performance in children. Research indicates that children who consistently share meals with their families tend to achieve higher test scores and better grades. This correlation is attributed to several factors, including healthier eating habits, enhanced communication between parents and children, reduced stress levels, and stronger family connections. These elements collectively contribute to a child's emotional well-being and cognitive development, which are crucial for academic success. I mean, to me, that just makes sense. I mean, culturally, I don't know how much of that we do as, African American families. I know growing up, that wasn't pretty much, every now and then that would happen as I had a family, growing up, raising my family. I tried to do this, as much as possible, but schedules, work, activities, it makes it hard. But I really think that what they're saying is true, because you have an opportunity, once a week, every other day, every day, to communicate with your kids. You can sit there and figure out what some of their challenges may be. You can help them to develop, just language. You're the adult, so you know more than your child, so you can help them become a better person right at your kitchen table. So I totally agree with this. The reason I'm bringing it up, because I know we're not doing it. I think it was a thing of the past. Back in the day, we used to see Caucasian families doing it, on different TV shows back in the day. So that's kind of where the whole concept came from. But you have to realize that you have to pay attention to that, because a lot of times, our brethrens, they have had such a head start on us as far as life, just life, living life, that you have to pay attention to some of the things that they've done and incorporate those things in your own household, because they're doing it for a reason. They understand that, having dinner with your family, being able to communicate with your kids, find out what's going on in their lives, find out what some of their pitfalls are, identifying some things that you could potentially help them with to be better people, you can do that over an hour, 2 hour dinner. You can ask them, what's going on in your life? What's happening at school? Are you having issues? Are you being bullied? Are you being, peer pressure? How's the peer pressure in school? Are they trying to get you to do X, Y, and Z? Are you bullying? Just a lot of things. What are you having issues with in school? We're looking at your grades because nowadays grades are readily available for you, just like everything else. So there's no excuses for parents to not know what's going on academically in your child's life because everything is right there on the computer nowadays. So you can literally have conversations about what's going on academically and help them to, strive and get past some of the challenges that they may have, or more so than that, get them additional help. So I brought this up because I just think it's something that's missing from families all across the world, especially in our culture. And I get it. We're busy, got a lot going on. We're trying to get to the bag, all of that. But you have to stop and take time out for your kids because you look up and you've missed out on a lot of things. And then you wonder why about a lot of the other things that could be happening, bad things, So I say if you can, try to get this on the agenda on a regular basis where you're breaking bread with your family, breaking bread with your wife, breaking bread with your husband, and breaking bread with your kids. Because not only is it dialogue that you can be having with kids, but it's also dialogue that you can be having with each other as well, as a husband or wife, or, whatever your case may be, right? So, yeah, I thought this was a good thing. I still think it's a good thing. I think it's something that, if you have a family, you should definitely be trying to practice, right? All right, so let's keep it moving. What do you guys think about that? I know that, like I said, we don't have a lot of followers right now. We'll have a lot of people chiming in during the broadcast, and that's good. That's fine. I like to see it go from 0 to 100 to 200 to 300, 500, as time goes on, because I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to be here every Monday and Tuesday. And then we're going to archive these, these episodes can be found on YouTube. They can be found on Facebook. So if you need to go back to get this information, you can. It's timeless, right? So if I leave this world tomorrow, knock on wood, that definitely is not happening. But, it's an archive of me giving my opinions. So my kids, my grandkids, if they ever want to see their granddad, or, my kids, if I'm gone before they're gone and they want to just have memories of me, they could chime in and see me. That's another reason why I do this. I want to leave my stamp here even when I'm gone, right? And I think we all should want to do that in some form or fashion. All right, but let's keep it moving. So Trump signs executive order supporting HBCUs, but funding is missing. I didn't even understand what this was about. Once again, more shenanigans, right? So President Trump signed a new executive order to promote innovation and excellence at HBCUs, continuing a tradition started in 1980 by President Carter. The order praises HBCUs for their role in workforce development and leadership, and outline goals like boosting public-private partnership and supporting 1890 land grant institutions. However, it doesn't commit to a new federal funding. While the order sounds similar to past efforts, critics point out the lack of real financial backings In contrast, the Biden administration paired its 2021 order with $1.6 billion in immediate funding and invested $17 billion in HBCUs over 4 years. Trump's order, by comparison, is more of a vision than an action plan. Advocates like Adam Harris, author of The State Must Provide, argues that states have long underfunded HBCUs despite legal obligations, especially the 1890 institutions. Encouragement alone hasn't worked. Enforcement and funding are needed. Private donations to HBCUs are growing, but still not enough to make up for historical underfunding. The 2025 order does highlight the potential for innovation and private partnerships in tech, healthcare, and manufacturing, which could help HBCUs grow if they get the financial support needed to realize those goals. Harry Williams of the Thurgood Marshall College Fund welcomed the inclusion of key policy priorities, but the big question remains: will this lead to real change, or is it just another empty promise? I don't know. Well, let me just say this. I went to an HBCU, Tennessee State University, so I get it. They are underfunded. Some of the greatest minds ever has come out of HBCUs. And once again, this is the part that I don't really be understanding. When you have these institutions sitting there educating some of the greatest Black minds, not just Black, it's Black, white, Hispanic, so all type of individuals that go to HBCUs now. But when you know that and you have a track record, you've seen it time and time again, you know plenty of people that went to HBCUs and doing great things in the world, include myself and others. Why would you not want to keep funding these institutions? Why would you want to level the playing field with these institutions as if they were these predominantly white institutions that are fully funded, overly funded, endowments in billions, endowments in millions, when you have these great institutions that were, initiated and established because we wasn't educating. They wouldn't allow us to be educated in the masses at the predominantly white institutions. So we go create our own. We do all the right things. And just like everybody else, other state institutions, other, predominantly white institutions who are getting funded, have beautiful campuses, beautiful, dorms, facilities, you name it. Then we got our HBCUs struggling, pretty much begging for funding. Why would we have to beg for funding when we know we have historical data on what these institutions mean to the education of people? So like stunts, this is what I'm talking about. Nobody needs stunts. If you do things and you make a change and you change lives, that's how you win the hearts of men and women. And it seems like everybody, I just think that people need to stop playing in our face, because that's what's happening here. I think they're playing in our face. We'll see. I get it. They're bringing whatever they're saying they're going to be bringing to the table. But to me, it seemed like it's a play in the face compared to the last administration, who put their money where their mouth was. You know what I'm saying? They put up the money. Once again, they can say what they said. $1.6 billion in immediate funding and invested, and the Biden administrator also invested $17 billion in HBCUs over 4 years. That's facts. Those things happen. Those things are happening right now. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I like to see. I want to see the facts. I want to see, show me. I ain't from Missouri, but I lived there once upon a time. I'm not from, we're from the show me state, is what I'm trying to say. Right? So if this administration really, cares about HBCUs, which kind of makes me be like, I don't really know if they do, because all this DEI stuff, I think it's more of a political stunt. Hopefully it's not, but based off everything that I'm seeing, it's a political stunt. Signing executive orders is like vogue now. It's the end thing. The president can just sign executive order, say he's going to do this, but the proof is going to be always in the results of what you're saying you're going to do. And we're so educated and savvy, you can't just pull the wool over our eyes. And I think for whatever reason, these political figures just think that they can still do just that, pull wool over our eyes, say what they want to say, to get it through the news cycle in hopes that people say, oh my God, the president's helping HBCUs. I told you he was for. It's easy to say it. Give me results like the last administration gave us, billions. I ain't heard a dollar. All I hear is what are they saying? The 2025 order does highlight the potential for innovation and private partnership in tech, healthcare, and manufacturing. The potential. What does that mean? The potential's already there on these campuses. Brilliant minds. Let's put our money where our mouth is, fund these institutions, get these institutions up to par with the predominantly white universities, and then that's the game changer. If you want to be, I don't really understand, like, when you're voting, you're not voting in your best interest. That's what our ancestors fought for us to vote in our best interest. Why are we not doing that? Why are we voting based off our emotions or what makes me feel good? Hell to the no. We don't got time for that. We're behind. Y'all forget. We're trying to play catch up, and we're hundreds of years behind. So we don't have time for the game plan, for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? So once again, we'll keep our eye on this as well. Another, they say they're gonna do this, and here we are. We'll see. We'll be waiting patiently in hopes that this administration give these institutions who just need it, because they don't have endowments. Like they say, alumni, we give back, we give money back, as people, we give back to these institutions, but it's not enough. It's not enough. We need to do more of that too, of course. But once again, these predominantly white institutions have such a head start on us. They have alumni with millions and billions to give back, to these institutions. I think we need to focus on doing a lot more of that. If you're alumni of an HBCU, you definitely need to be giving back. But until we can kind of get on the same playing field, we got to take advantage of, good money coming into these institutions from our government to make them better, to make the facilities better, to be able to hire professors that's going to be able to educate these individuals better. I know when I first went on to a HBCU, a black college campus, I was blown away as an African American. I didn't even know it existed because I went to Catholic schools, private schools, pretty much my whole life. So I wasn't in tune with the whole HBCU world until I landed on one of their campuses. And then I got it. I understood it. It prepares you to be the type of person you need to be out here in this world, this cold, cold world, where you went to I'm not saying anything against predominantly white universities because they've educated brilliant African American minds as well, but they just don't have that HBCU touch. They don't have that HBCU environment, fraternities and black culture. They have those things somewhat on white campuses, but not like an HBCU where as soon as you roll out the bed, as soon as you go to the cab, as soon as you walk across campus, all you see is like-minded black African American individuals who are striving to be the best that they can be in a world that was not meant for us to be in. So, yeah, if we need a little help because we're so far behind, that's fine. We're not going to be, hiding our head to say we need help because they've been so underfunded. TSU, Tennessee State, guys, just Google what's going on at TSU. It's just been a hot mess. Then kept billions away from the university. It's just been a mess. So I would encourage you, and we'll talk about it on other broadcasts, just kind of seeing what's going on, trying to give them an opportunity to get their ish together down there. But we'll definitely be talking about it at some point on the broadcast. But anyway, so yeah, HBCUs, presidents, stop playing with us in our face. If you're going to help, let us know what that's going to look like. That way we can plan properly. If we're going to step the game up in technologies and the things that you guys are talking about, that's fine. We adapt. Our minds are bright at these universities. So whatever you bring to the table, we're going to be able to hold our own. But we just ask that, if you're going to give us something, it's not that you're giving it to us, it's because we've earned it. Okay? We've earned it. We've stepped on these campuses. We've showed the world that if we're able to be educated, we can stand up against anybody else that's out here doing whatever. That's what we've shown. Educate us, enlighten us, and be ready because we're going to be titans of the industries that we're in. We're going to be the best that we can be in whatever it is that we do if we're given the opportunity. So yeah, that's that. We'll keep an eye on that as well. But anyway, let's speaking of excellence, let's bring up this young lady right here. I thought, first black woman-owned tequila brand, Tecapri tequila. I've never had it before. I'm not a big drinker. But I just thought that, here we're going to highlight individuals who is out here doing their 1-2. I am Tiffany Capri, if you want to find her. She makes history as the first black woman in the world to solely own a tequila brand. After surviving a traumatic brain injury from a serious car accident while working for the federal government, she knew she had to make the most of her second chance at life. She started making gourmet cocktail gummy bears, but her love for tequila pushed her to dream bigger. She traveled to Jalisco, Mexico, learned the process from farm to bottle, and used her retirement savings to produce her first 1,500 bottles. In 2021, she made history. 100% Black woman-owned tequila brand, and she has a legacy in the making. So yeah, that's Tiffany Capri. Like I said, she don't know me from Adam. She probably never see this, but we're gonna highlight it. This is big. I mean, she went through a lot and kept her dreams alive. Traumatic brain injury, that's no joke. And for her to be able to overcome that, take her savings and put her money where her mouth is, and now she's 100% owner of her own tequila brand. You already know what we got to do about that. You already know. She deserves a round of applause. That's big. And, I do this because it just, for people who are out there struggling about their dreams, wondering, trying to figure out, should I do it? You got to step out there on faith. You got to take it in front of the Lord, and you got to be able to step out there on faith. Because when you do that and you're passionate about whatever it is that you want to do, dreams come true. We have too many examples. No one should be scared. It's no longer a place where you don't have examples everywhere. They're everywhere. So there's really no excuses. And we all know what excuses are. They're tools of incompetence. They build monuments of nothing. Those who use them seldom amount to anything. Right? So do away with the excuses. Be like Tiffany. Don't allow, tough things that happen to you to take you away from getting to your dreams. Because when you're able to live out your dreams, like what I'm doing right now, I'm living out a dream. I'm here talking to you on a Tuesday at noon. I didn't lock down nowhere. Ain't nobody telling me I got to be back to work by noon. I got an hour lunch break. Nothing against people who work, because you got to get to the bag however you got to get to the bag. But if you have dreams, go after your dreams. You can do it in a way where you don't have to stop your income that, keeps a roof over your family's head, keep food on your table. But if you're going to go for a dream, it takes bravery. It takes being smart. It takes just grabbing your kahunas and stepping out there on faith with a good game plan and executing. Execution is not talked about enough. Once you have something, once you come up with something that you can fall in love with, that you're passionate about, then from there it's all about execution. There's a game plan for everything. There's a blueprint for everything. Once you figure out what that blueprint is, then you fucking execute. Excuse my language. But you execute. It ain't that difficult. For real, for real. It may seem that way because we're not intellectually prepared to do these things, because society has taught us to go to work, retire with peanuts, and then pass away. Come on now. nobody else in other cultures is doing it that way. If they got a dream, they're going after that dream. They're not letting anything get in the way of those dreams. So us as people, as African Americans, we got to do the same. And if you're not an African American, if you're Caucasian, if you're Hispanic, if you're Asian, if you're whatever, the same message applies. Okay? All right. So big up to Tiffany. You can go check her tequila brand out at I am Tiffany Capri. That's her Instagram handle. She's a Washington, D.C. native. So, yeah, reach out to Tiffany. Get you some tequila. I don't know if she's able to ship it to you, or I'm pretty sure she's high-tech enough to be able to do that. I'm definitely going to, pick up a bottle to add to my collection here at my house. So when people come over, they'll be able to, see what she got in the bottle. But for her to just step out there, do the things that she did to get to this point, I have nothing but admiration for Tiffany, right? All right, so Tiffany, good job, gal. I know you don't know me, but maybe somebody tell you it's this cat, He be on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, just talking about whatever he be talking about. He brought your name up. He gave you standing ovation, blah, 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 blah. Hopefully that's how my encounters with, people who I bring up and give praises to will find out about me. I don't need nobody. I'm not built like that. I'm built like I just do the work. And if whatever comes, it comes. That's how I'm built. All right. Well, let's keep it moving. Not just Tiffany. We're going to bring up somebody else. This is a father and daughter duo who owns their own mortgage lending firm with a goal to help 1,000 families become homeowners. Dante Lee and his daughter Kayaya are making history as the first ever Black father and daughter duo on a mission to help at least 1,000 African American families become homeowners within the next 12 months. People, they have launched a Black-owned lending firm called BlackHomeOwnership.com to easily and quickly pre-qualify underprivileged families to get home loans that would ordinarily be denied to them. I need to holler at them. I mean, they probably can use my wisdom. This is big, right? Here's a father and daughter that once again, this is what I'm talking about. Living out your dreams. Can you imagine him seeing his daughter every day and they're out here trying to help families become homeowners to potentially start to build some type of generational wealth? That's exactly what they're doing. They're out here putting together. Anybody can do this. That's the crazy thing. Anybody can have a lending company. As a matter of fact, I have one right now. Once again, I just don't be on here telling you guys everything that I do, but I have a lending company. Me and my people own a lending company. We could do loans all across the country, fix and flip, commercial, you name it. We can do it, and I am one of the owners. So it can be done. If they can do it, if I can do it, anybody can do whatever it is that they want to do, right? So, this particular company, we're not going to spend a lot of time on them because we're going to spend a couple minutes just doing a deep dive on them. They're new, so that portion is not going to be long, but nevertheless, they're out here doing what it is that they're supposed to be doing. I love it. And let's give them a round of applause. right. So yeah, that's big. That's Dante Lee and Kayaya. I hope I'm saying her name right. Probably not, but tried to get as close as I could. And you can go to their website. Like I said, we're going to be doing a deep dive, so you'll be able to get more information. But they're at blackhomeownership.com. All right. Go and check out what they got going on. If you're in that area, I don't know exactly what their footprint is, but like us, we could go nationwide. I'm not sure if I've been in this game for a long time, so I'm not quite sure how long they've been doing it. She seems fairly young. He seems young too. But at some point, a company like that, I'll definitely reach out to them because, a lot of times there's not a lot of us out here that's doing lending. I'm going to just be honest with you. I hardly ever see us. So when I seen that, I had to bring them up, had to talk about it because it's just big. It's an industry. This probably just be killing me. This particular industry, lending to investors, lending to potential homeowners, is a $1 billion industry. And we're probably less than 1%, maybe 0.005% of us are in the industry. It's a $1 billion industry. It's all kind of money being made. I'm making all kind of money. It's a huge industry. It's an industry that, all should tap into if you can. Like I said, at some point we're going to talk about how you can get in this game. Some people may not want to be in the finance game, but it allows me to have my freedom. It allows me to go and do what I want to do when I want to do it. I haven't had a boss since 2008. I've had partners, but I haven't had a boss. I haven't had somebody telling me what to do, when to be here, what time I got to get off. I go crazy if I had to have a boss at this point in time in my life, because I've been doing what I do for so long without having to have one. So, I was at home when my kids would come home from school. If they had programs that I needed to be at 11, at 10, at whatever time, I was there because I've been able to learn a business, fall in love with the business, become passionate about it. And, almost 20 years now, 15, 20 years, I've been at the helm, making it happen. So big up to this father-daughter duo. I wish them nothing but luck. Like I said, at some point, I think I will reach out to them just to have a conversation, see if I could be of any assistance. But I like what they're doing, and we're going to take a deep dive on them a little bit later so you can kind of get an understanding of what it is that they do as well. Okay? All right. Let's keep it moving. Adidas, my Adidas. Yeah, what y'all know about that? Adidas warns it will raise prices on all U.S. products due to tariffs. Here we go, folks. Adidas is the first. I'm telling you, we're getting ready to. It's getting ready to happen. Like I said, it's only been 100 days. We got 3 years ahead of us, and it's going to be a roller coaster ride. Those tariffs are about to have you not at these malls, not on these platforms shopping, because they're getting ready to get to taxing because of these tariffs, right? So sportswear giant Adidas on Tuesday said that U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs would result in price hikes for all its U.S. products. The company said it did not yet know by how much it would boost prices Also noting that the global trade dispute was preventing it from raising its full year outlook despite a bumper increase in first quarter profits. High tariffs will eventually cause higher costs for all products for the U.S. market, Adidas said in a statement. The company said it was somewhat exposed to White House tariffs on Beijing, currently at an effective rate of 145%, but that it had already reduced exports of its China-made products to the U.S. to a minimum. However, it said the biggest impact was coming from the general increase in U.S. tariffs on all other countries, which are largely held at 10% while trade negotiations take place, right? So we're just gonna have to just grin, bite our tongues in hopes that whatever this whole, because nobody really understands this tariff, and the president claims he understands it better than anybody to ever create. You know how I know it better than anybody. Nobody knows it better than me. You know how you get down. So we're just gonna have to wait and see, unfortunately. But in the meantime, in between time, he told you. A lot of times, and the slogan is when somebody tells you who they are, believe them. He already told you we're about to go through some pain. The pain is going to be like everything that you want to purchase is going to be as high as giraffe, you know what. So, Adidas, they're rolling out, they're preparing. And you're going to see it, watch. Companies are going to start preparing. They're going to start talking. They're going to start, getting you ready for what's getting ready to happen. But you ain't going to really understand it until you go on to an Adidas platform and you just want to pick up some shell toes. And, right now, shell toes, you probably get them for $50, $60. In a minute, they're going to be like Jordans, 100, 120. Jordan's going to be, I just bought some. 200 something. I'm glad I got them before the tariffs hit. I've just been like buying them. Just buying Air Force Ones, whites, because I get it. I see what's getting ready to happen. They about to start taxing you. And I don't know how long the taxing is going to, continue. But I do know that, you better be prepared because it's coming. And Adidas is one of the first companies that's stepping out there because they're trying to be responsible to let you know what's getting ready to happen, right? So we'll keep an eye on Adidas. We'll keep an eye on other companies as well. But like I said, it's right around the corner, folks. We're 100 days in. Tariffs went crazy a couple weeks ago. So we just haven't had a chance to see like how is it going to actually affect us. Canada just hired, they just voted in a new prime minister. I think that's what they call him over there in Canada. And I just heard some earlier that if we keep acting a fool, they have the ability to, cut our electricity off. Anybody that borders Canada, because that's where we're getting our electricity, our energy from, I'm assuming. I don't know all the intimate details, but, it's crazy. It's about to get crazier. So buckle up, everybody. All right. All right, so that's all our topics for today. Let's talk about some of these hacks real quick. Let's talk about these mortgage hacks. I love giving you guys these mortgage hacks. All right, so we had talked about the first hack is user seller concessions for permanent interest rate buy downs. Many buyers know about temporary 2-1 buy downs, but you can also negotiate permanent buy downs as well through seller concessions to save thousands over the life of a loan. Let me take Adidas down. Okay. So I like that hack because, you know, nowadays, like we say, everything is negotiable, right? So when you're buying a property to live in, or you're buying a property to add to your portfolio, or whatever the case may be, you have to kind of understand like some of your negotiation points. And this is one of them that can help you get lower interest rates, can help you towards your down payment. So take advantage of seller concessions. When you're negotiating with these sellers, you need to be talking about, how much seller concessions are you willing to put forth? 3%, 2%, 5%, 6%. Have them conversations. Don't just be out here blindly, purchasing real estate without negotiating everything if possible, right? All right, so that's hack number 1. Take advantage of seller concessions. All right, hack number 2, the season gift fund move. If you're receiving a gift for your down payment, ask your donor to deposit it 60 plus days before applying. That way it appears as seasoned in your bank account. Fewer underwriting questions. Yeah, because these underwritings, they want that gift, down payment funding to be seasoned. So, have your plan, have your strategy in place. If someone's going to give you the funds, have them to put it in a bank account for 60 days, in your bank account for 60 days. That way, when it's time for you to purchase the house and you want to use that gift, those monies as a gift, and it goes in front of the underwriter will sign off on it a lot quicker if they see that it's been seasoned for the amount of time that's necessary. And typically they want it to be 60 days, right? So yeah, that's a good hack for, you individuals who are purchasing homes for the first time. That's a great hack. Very good hack. All right, hack number 3, apply for lesser known down payment assistance programs for repeat buyers. Most people think that down payment assistance is only for first time buyers, but many states have programs for anyone who hasn't owned a home in 3 years, right? It's you got to educate yourself when you're getting ready to make such a large purchase, right? Sometimes people buy one home and they live in that home until the day they die, right? So you're going into it, you want to just max out as much information as you can on how to do it. And this is a good one, try to keep as much money in your pocket as possible. And if you haven't owned a home in 3 years, they do have down payment assistance programs, but you have to look and find it. You have to talk to your realtor or your loan officer to find out if these things exist. Stop being in a rush. There's no need to be in a rush, right? Do your research, do your due diligence on the front end. All right. That's a great hack, right? Hack number 4, recash your mortgage after closing to lower your monthly payment. Make a large lump sum payment post-closing and ask your lender for a recast. You keep your interest rate, but shrink your monthly payment without refinancing. We touched on that. Here's another strategy. I'm just giving you guys the strategies. So when you get ready to make a move, you can just, you can come to the table educated. You can come to the table and ask for things that you deserve to get, right? All right, so that's our last hack for the day. I love these hacks. Hopefully you do. We're going to keep bringing them to you, of course. But now we're going to dive into our deep dive. So I'm going to allow my distinguished deep dive, my folks, my peoples, so to speak. I'm gonna let them come up to the to the stage, and they're gonna talk about blackhomeownership.com, the father-daughter duo. All right. Okay.
Okay, so for this deep dive, we're going to take a look at blackhomeownership.com.
Right. And our only source here is the website itself.
Exactly. We're just trying to understand, what are their goals? How are they approaching this whole issue of the homeownership gap?
That difference in ownership rates between racial groups. We're looking at what they say they want to do.
Okay, let's unpack that then. Right off the bat, their main objective seems, well, pretty clear.
Yeah. Helping more African Americans become homeowners. Simple as that on the surface.
But they do break it down into more specific goals, don't they?
They do. And that's where it gets interesting. They mention things like helping first-generation buyers.
Which is a big hurdle for many families.
Absolutely. And also, obviously, closing that overall homeownership gap we mentioned.
And they specifically call out avoiding predatory lending.
Yeah, those really unfair loan terms. That's crucial. And also avoiding housing discrimination.
So very targeted problems they're aiming to solve.
Definitely. And while they say the site's for everyone, they do state it's especially designed to empower Black and brown families.
So a deliberate focus there. Makes sense, given the context.
And they provide that context with a specific statistic, right?
They do. They cite the U.S. Census Bureau, saying only about 44% of African-American households own home.
Compared to almost 75% for white households. That's a really stark difference.
It really highlights the why behind a platform like this, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So who are the people running it?
Right. The site says it's owned by a father and daughter, Dante Lee and Zakiya Jordan.
Okay. And their backgrounds. Do they seem like a good fit for this kind of work?
Well, Dante Lee, the father, has 25 years in marketing and PR, specifically targeting African-American consumers online.
So he knows how to reach the intended audience.
Seems like it. Plus, he's a licensed real estate agent and a mortgage loan officer. Licensed everywhere, all 50 states.
Wow. Okay. That's a powerful combination. Marketing know-how and the actual licenses to handle the transactions.
Exactly. And then Zakiya Jordan, his daughter, she brings over 10 years in customer service, apparently from a Fortune 500 company.
So experience dealing with clients, systems.
Right. And she's also a licensed real estate agent and mortgage loan officer, again, nationwide.
So you have this blend: outreach, marketing, customer service, plus the actual real estate and finance credentials across the whole country.
It suggests they can potentially handle things directly for people anywhere in the U.S.
Yeah, maybe making that complex mortgage process a bit easier, especially for first-timers.
So how does this translate to the website itself? What features stand out?
Well, one of the first things you notice is a big button, right? Get pre-approved now, okay?
Yeah, very prominent. Shows a clear focus on getting people started on the financial side, like step one.
Exactly. They also have, the standard contact form if you have questions.
Standard stuff. And they mention the usual website things like copyright for 2024 or 2025.
And their NMLS number is listed 2623737. That's the identifier for mortgage lenders. Adds legitimacy.
Right, shows they're registered.
And they also mention using cookies, which, is common.
Sure, for analyzing traffic, optimizing the site.
Yeah, it suggests they're probably looking at how people use the site and maybe tweaking it over time to be more helpful.
Okay, so summing it all up, blackhomeownership.com seems very focused on that racial homeownership gap.
Definitely. They're using this platform to offer, it looks like, education, resources, maybe direct help.
All led by this father-daughter team with experience in marketing, real estate, and finance.
Really aiming at those specific hurdles: first-time buying, predatory loans, discrimination, The wealth gap's impact.
It's a targeted approach. So here's maybe something to think about after listening.
Okay.
We know the homeownership gap is tied to so many complex things, right? Economic history, systemic issues, all sorts of deep-rooted factors.
Yeah, it's not simple.
So it kind of makes you wonder, what role can these kinds of specialized resources like this website really play in navigating such a complex landscape? What kind of impact can they actually have?
That's a good question. How effective can one platform be against such big challenges? And what else is needed alongside it?
Exactly. Something to mull over.
Okay, we back. That was a quick one today. Blackhomeownership.com, right? Basically, the main theme of this particular company is the central purpose is to empower and assist Black and brown families in achieving home ownership with a specific focus on addressing existing disparities and historical disadvantages. The most important ideas and facts about the company is that their platform explicitly states its goal is to help more African Americans become homeowners. While open to anyone who wants to become a homeowner, it is especially designed to empower Black and brown families. Their key motivator for the platform is the significant disparity in home ownership rates between African American and white households. The source highlights this gap by quoting data from the U.S. Census Bureau. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, only about 44% of African American households own their homes, compared to almost 75% of white households who own their homes. Their website specific objectives is aimed at helping the Black family achieve becoming first-generation home buyers, bridge the home ownership gap, avoid predatory lending, and avoid housing discrimination. Blackhomeownership.com is owned and operated by the father and daughter team, Dante Lee and Zakiya Jordan. Both individuals possess relevant professional experience and licensing. Dante, who's the CEO, has 25 years of experience in marketing and public relations, helping clients effectively reach African American consumers online. He is also a licensed real estate agent and a licensed mortgage loan officer in all 50 states. Zakiya Jordan, president, has more than 10 years of experience working in the customer service industry for a major Fortune 500 company. She is also a licensed real estate agent and a licensed mortgage loan officer in all 50 states. The website prominently featured a Get Approved Now option to encourage immediate engagement from potential home buyers. So the key takeaways is blackhomeownership.com positions itself as a dedicated resource for Black and brown families seeking to navigate the home buying process. Its mission is rooted in acknowledging and actively working to close the existing racial home ownership gap. The platform emphasized providing assistance in key areas like becoming a first-time home buyer, avoiding unfair practices, and overcoming discriminatory barriers. The leadership team's combined expertise in marketing, real estate, and mortgage lending is presented as a core strength of service. That's blackhomeownership.com. So guys, if you get a chance, go over to their website, take a look. That's exactly what we're here for, to acknowledge companies like this who could potentially help you out, help your family out. And these particular individuals are geared towards Black and brown folks, but they are not against helping anyone, right? All right, so let's get out of here. That's the show, from Elon's emission to Black Wealth in Motion. Catch us live every Monday and Tuesdays from 12 to 2 p.m. Eastern Time. This is the most important piece. Subscribe on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Hit that bell. And remember, the streets don't lie, but the data don't either. Until next time, stay informed and stay in the money. And I'm out.